Hey guys, I'm Graham Dufault, Senior Director for Public Policy here at ACT the App Association, and we just wanted to provide a quick update and overview of the 116th Congress next 2 years. For many reasons, I'm looking at it as the year of privacy. The events in the last year in which people have experienced their data being shared with groups and in a manner that they don't really expect have really caused a lot of voters to put pressure on Congress to make changes to privacy laws. Couple that with the General Data Protection Regulation that just went into effect in Europe and a new strict privacy law that just passed in California. And you've got more pressure than ever on Congress to act on privacy. A lot of people argue that the United States doesn't do enough on privacy when it comes to the federal government. So Congress is really looking at making more specific requirements and putting more specific requirements into federal law. And that's going to apply to a broad swath of the economy, not just to certain sectors. The concepts that Congress is going to be looking at are concepts like, what are companies doing with personal data? Are they doing things with personal data that consumers have given them permission to do? And how does that permission effectuate itself? The questions are all around the authorized uses of data, rather than when a criminal, for example, comes in and breaches somebody's computer system and steals data. And so those are the types of questions that they're going to be looking at. One of the things to look out for is whether and to what extent the federal privacy law, a new privacy bill, is going to preempt state laws, and then the effects that the new congressional approach is going to have on small businesses versus large businesses. And so that's really important to us as a trade association that represents small companies. We're going to be looking at whether or not a new set of federal privacy requirements is going to require compliance on the part of small companies that doesn't really align with good privacy practices. Are companies spending a ton of money trying to comply with the law, and does that divert resources from investing in privacy practices and features that really work for consumers? Those are going to be the central tenets for us, and that's how we're going to be evaluating federal privacy action. Another thing that Congress is going to be working on is net neutrality and broadband deployment. With Democrats now controlling the House, we're going to be looking at it through a different lens a little bit. And the House Energy and Commerce Committee, chaired by Congressman Frank Pallone, is going to be looking at net neutrality and possibly legislating on a couple of different concepts that will require equal treatment on the internet. Privacy and net neutrality, we know, are going to be at the top of the list for the 116th Congress. Another thing we're going to be looking at is the Green New Deal. Many of you have probably heard about this. It's a concept that's been around for a number of years. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has the Green New Deal as one of her main priorities, and we know that she has a lot of support nationally. It's a set of principles that have an ultimate goal of moving the United States to renewable energy and using renewable energy as opposed to traditional sources like oil, coal, gas. And so we're going to be watching that closely. The tech sector is going to have a role to play there, and we're going to be talking a lot about how does the workforce change and how does workforce development look a little bit different than it did before under a renewable energy regime. And then lastly, I should mention that Fintech is going to be at the top of the list of issues that the House of Representatives and the Senate are going to be looking at. Fintech is always a hot topic in Congress. We feel like this year it's going to really come to fruition as the states have been kind of experimenting with different regulatory approaches to ensure that consumers are protected while also allowing for innovation in that market. And we know that Ranking Member Patrick McHenry over in the Financial Services Committee has that as one of his main priorities. Folks are going to be watching that pretty closely. Those are the things we're looking at for the next year. There's going to be a number of other things like healthcare as well that we're going to be active on. We're definitely looking forward to it.